What's up, YouTube? And welcome to the next entry in my Let's series, which is all about me playing video games through minimal technology and poorly. So today we have a game we're going to feature called Musya, and that is not to be confused with Musya on the Sega Genesis. Musya has the wonderful subtitle of The Classic Japanese Tale of Horror, and was a kind of a failure of a game on the Super Nintendo that was released by the company Seta. Seta put out a lot of interesting and very Japanese in nature games for the Super Nintendo that probably many other publishers would have passed on for US release. So today we're going to play a little bit of Musya, and I can tell you that the themes in this game are much more interesting than the actual gameplay itself. This game also has on the title screen, which is different than the actual cartridge name, another subtitle, which is Emoto's Saga Musya. And Emoto is the star character of the game who is a pikeman, who wields a pike as his weapon. So, that being said, how about we play some Musya for Super Nintendo. And as we get into the game, we're going to see a little introductory story about Emoto-san. Nothing really too exciting, a very non-interactive cutscene, but some nice artwork. And I'm going to skip the rest of it. So here is stage 1, the Tengamura Cavern. This game, again, is very steeped in Japanese mythology and classic tales, but unfortunately the gameplay is just really unusual. So if you notice at the top of the screen, I have all those little fire symbols, several of them as you can tell. Those are all of my health meter. And you do get a very generous health meter, but that being said, the enemies regenerate like crazy, and some of them, as they touch you, will take off multiple hits of your health meter very, very quick, as you're already seeing a little bit. So, I'm trying to remember kind of the flow of this stage, because it is a little bit of a maze. There are multiple paths which you can get to the end, which is kind of cool. And the game mechanics are just a little odd. Some of the controls are a little floaty. It's a little strange how Emoto swings his pike tons of times, more than necessary. Okay, there's my first death. And honestly, one of the best tactics to get through this game is to basically just run through the stage as fast as possible and not encounter as many enemies as possible. So another thing you'll notice now that I am on life number 2 is I'm actually still on my first life because my health meter didn't change. So I fell through the hole, it put me back at the start, but I didn't get a fresh dose of health, which is kind of odd. So I have all these enemies chasing me, and honestly what I'm going to choose to do is just power through and really ignore most of them. You also can just jab with your pike. You don't have to use the spin attack, although I prefer it. So for some of the smaller enemies, obviously just jabbing them would be more ideal, which is what I'm doing now. Okay, so there was a for real death. So I sat down with this game about 2 weeks ago, maybe, and made it to, I don't know, the 3rd or 4th stage. And essentially just shut it off because I was getting a little annoyed with one of the bosses. It's not an impossible game by any means, it's just so weird in its control style and the constantly regenerating enemies and just some of the little annoyances that kind of tick you off if you try to play through it all the way through. I really don't know how many stages there are. I would guess 6 or 7, but I really, have no idea. Art style, again, for 1992, it's a pretty early Super Nintendo game. It's not bad. I'm playing it on my XRGB 3 upscaler, so the graphics are looking pretty sharp with this. The other day when I was playing it, I was just playing it through a composite cable, and it didn't look nearly as good as this does. There's actually some nice detail in the backgrounds. I don't really remember what this part's about. Oh yeah, so anyway, the other reason I wanted to show off this game is some of the enemies in this game are really psychedelic and unusual, like these giant eyeballs that would just attack me. Apparently all these are well-known characters in Japanese mythology, but to an American, it's a little unsettling. And I guess that's where the classic tale of horror subtitle came in with this game. Not sure if you can hear the music too well. I've got it turned pretty down pretty low, but it's okay. I mean, like the songs are somewhat interesting, but they repeat way too much. Like to the point of driving you crazy. Okay, so I just picked up one of the special attacks, and those are few and far between, but as you can tell, it really didn't do me very much good because there was nothing really on the screen at the time. Which is kind of another failing of the game. So I just picked up a little extra life. Nothing really too exciting there. We have some Medusa head type things that are puking bowling balls or something of the such at me. I'm sure if I actually understood some of these classic storylines, this would all make sense, but it's really quite bizarre. Alright, I think we are at the first boss stage. Yes. She's beautiful. Oh, never mind. It's an evil Tanuki. Okay, so this boss drove me crazy for about the first 20 times I played this game because I didn't think I was doing any damage to it. So one thing that's really annoying about this is there is no life meter for the bosses, and also very little indication that you're actually hurting them because they require a ton of hits to kill. And I've actually got to remember what my strategy was that I actually used with this thing. So I'll probably have to hit this Tanuki about, 30 times before it'll actually change red, which indicates it's about to die. That's really the only indication you get that you're making any progress with the bosses. Very annoying feature of the game. So I can kind of deflect some of the little Tanuki, whatever they are, things that he's throwing at me. You have to avoid the fire. I really had a nice thought out strategy for this boss the other day, and I can't remember what the heck it was, so excuse me while I'm flailing around here. Yep, so it's really just a game of waiting, stabbing, waiting, stabbing. Not exactly the most inventive boss. Some of the other ones, though, I will say are pretty cool. There is a Tengu in Stage 3, I believe. It's actually one of the Japanese mythology characters I recognize. And that one's kind of fun to fight. This one, not so much. But yeah, like I said, there's no no indication of your progress. It's just really annoying. Alright, probably gonna take a hit or two here to get onto the other side of him, which is stupid. I think some of the reasons they give you that huge life meter is just because it would be impossible to actually like get through some of these bosses without getting hit at all. We're gonna hope we can beat this guy. I don't know, I'm kind of running low on life. I think he speeds up when he gets red and pissed off, so. I don't know if I'm doing a good job of selling this game or not selling this game. I mean, I really want you to make up your own opinion on it, but it's definitely not a top tier title for the Super Nintendo, but I think it's worth a look. It's just such an unusual game. Okay, so here's the first continue screen. One thing that's really cool about this game, it's very Ninja Gaiden style in that you can continue as many times as you want. So on the surface, it's a little bit forgiving. And I think with all the technical difficulties with this game, that's probably part of the reasons they gave you that. So I have a little bit of an extra help now that I continued, is that I have, well, I'm probably going to lose it, but I have actually a shooting piece of my pike at the moment, which I can actually do some distance attacks with, so that's very nice. That will probably help me out a lot. Doesn't go extremely far, but farther than the normal reach. Okay, I'm really hoping I can beat this guy this time so you can see more of the game. If not, you're probably getting pretty bored with this video, so let's see what I can do. I haven't watched any other videos of this. Maybe there's some like other techniques of the game that I'm not even aware of. Unfortunately, I didn't get an instruction manual for this game, so I'm kind of just feeling it out. Maybe there's like some super secret thing that I don't know about that makes it way more interesting and fun. Okay, cool. So now he's pissed, which is good. That means he's about to die. So let's see if I can finish him off with my 4 little chunks of life I have left. There we go. Okay. So now he dissolves into purple goo, which is pretty cool. I do like the little end piece there. Get a scroll. I learned a fire spell. Okay. Alright, so stage 2. This is the catacombs. We'll see how we do with this one. So this stage has some creepy ambient music. I will give it credit for that. But again, it loops way too quick. This stage is really where you start needing the mix of using your jab attack and your spin attack, more so than the first stage. You also have these very Mario-esque crashing stones, whatever you want to call them. The boss of this stage is actually a giant one. Sorry, not to spoil it, but... And I don't really remember it being very difficult the other day when I was playing this. Alright, so let's watch out for spiky stuff. And that was a huge failure. So there are a lot of branching paths with this, and I don't even really know if there's like a lot of benefit to going to one or the other. But there definitely is some hidden stuff if you go out and explore some of these, so let me go this way. Everything just like pukes the purple goo at you, and I don't really know what the significance of that is. Maybe it means something to the story, but whoa, that was bad. Okay. The music is almost like Egyptian in this stage. It's really odd. Maybe I'm making that up. I don't know. It's just odd to me. So again, you fall in a hole, and it's not actually the end of your life, but it does take you back to the beginning of the stage, and you don't get any extra life back. So it's a really strange way to deal with falling in holes. Not very much following video game logic of any sort. I don't know much about, like, Seta themselves. Their games aren't really... I don't know, they don't have a lot of common themes to them, so I don't know if they had multiple different teams developing games within Seta, but I can't really think of another Seta game that's comparable to this. But if you do want to play another Seta game for Super Nintendo that's very weird, also, would be Kendo Rage. Very Japanese in style game that I'm surprised we got here. And kind of fun. But nothing like this game. Doesn't have the horror themes or anything like that. It's more cartoony. Alright, I'm gonna go this way this time. Let's see what trouble we can get into over here. These really aren't that difficult. I mean, they try to mix up the pace of them and whatnot like that, but they're not... They have such a long reach to the ceiling that you have plenty of time to react. It's not that challenging. Okay, so now the next section of the catacombs. And really cool effect there when you fell into that, but at the same time kind of ugly. Okay, so here's another odd enemy. We have like a moon face with lips puking stuff at me. There's a lot of things that puke things in this game. It's kind of a odd feature of it for sure. Okay, so now would be a good time to use my spin attack because I'm getting knocked around on all angles. The other thing I don't like about the spin attack, you can't really move while you're doing your spin attack. You have to stay in one place. Makes it very annoying. Okay, so if you die in the middle of the stage, there are some points of checkpoints in some form, but, you know, they're not marked or anything. So you don't necessarily have to go back to exactly where you started, which is nice. I really don't like this section. I was more a fan of the giant stones just to avoid. It was easier. But anyway, let's see if I can power through this. Really, I mean, again, just running through the stage seems to be the best technique, rather than even encountering the enemies. Because if you encounter them, they're just going to respawn and kill you some more. It's kind of dumb. Yep, so that was the technique there, just run through the stage, or walk slowly through the stage. Okay, so like I was saying about the music, some of it is vaguely interesting, but then when you fight the bosses, it's the exact same music for every boss, which is not even a good song. Okay, so this is actually a boss, believe it or not. And it's not that bad. I don't remember it being that bad. We'll see. But again, no life meter, no way to tell how you're actually doing. I'm probably gonna have to die once because I have one life piece left, but anyway, we'll play along and see. Yeah, okay, let's start over fresh. So basically it's one of those stones that has gotten away and has gone rogue and is doing its own thing. It also breaks into these shadow stones, which is super annoying, but you can knock them out with the spin attack. I'm also kind of just like experimenting with the shoulder buttons and seeing if there's any other attacks that I'm not using that I should know about. And it looks like, oh, look at that, there's actually like a parry attack. Huh. Well, you know, that's one of those things that like having the manual is useful for, but I don't, so I'm learning things as we're playing this. So anyway, I would like to beat this boss for you, and then I'll probably cut off the video because I'm sure this is getting way too long, but this should be probably a pretty good indication of whether you would enjoy this game or not. Price-wise, seems to be going up a little bit. This game used to be very cheap, but pretty much anything Super Nintendo that's vaguely rare now is money, so I can't remember what I saw when I looked this up last. I bought this a few years ago, so before it spiked, but I'm guessing 50, 60 bucks, something in that neighborhood, if you want just a cartridge. Obviously more if you want complete. Not one you're gonna see every day. This is probably one of those games that like pretty much only video stores bought back in the day, would be my guess. It's just too weird for your mainstream Walmart audience or whatever, whoever bought Super Nintendo games at the time. Okay, so he's getting a little bit faster, which means he's probably close to getting pissed off and turning red, but not quite. He's also hitting me with those dust clouds, and that's taking life. That really sucks. Now he's splitting into multiples again. Not cool. But yeah, you can tell the bosses are really just a battle of patience more than anything else. I mean, they're not inventive in their patterns. They just kind of mosey around. And you do your thing. Really would like to beat him, but he's getting a little too close to me that I like. So I'm gonna step back a little bit. Oh man. There we go. Okay. Boss 2 complete. And I get another scroll. Yay. I got the hero's soul. Okay, so more stages that have interesting titles. This is the Palace of Hate. Just one of the oddball things about this game that really drives me to it. Palace of Hate has some more interesting enemy styles, as you can tell. It looks like a flying Danzig or something. I don't know what it's supposed to be. Probably not Danzig. Very, very ominous music in the stage. I actually really like it. Again, though, it repeats way too fast. So yeah, if anyone ends up buying this game as a result of this video, please let me know. I'm curious what you think of it, and also if you figure out a bunch of stuff about the game that I'm just missing out entirely. It wouldn't surprise me. Okay, so I just got the Kongu attack, which looks like it actually gave me like a different color, so that's kind of cool. I don't know if it's a shield or what, but now I'm kind of just wanting to buy a manual for this game and see what else there is to know about it. There's obviously more to this game I'm missing, but on the surface level, it's still kind of fun. Oh, okay. Well, that wasn't good. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and end the video here. Hopefully you guys like this look into this unusual Super Nintendo title. If you come across this game, again, I would say grab it just because it's weird and you probably won't see it again. Hopefully, again, you enjoyed this video. Please take a moment, like, comment, subscribe, let me know what you think, and I will talk to you soon. Have a great day or night, wherever you are.